Something might be happening today which won't make sense to you, but tomorrow when you achieve and you accomplish it from a higher ground, you'll be seeing and it will make sense. To get something great, you need to give up something you love the most. Your comfort, you have to give up. Your sacrifice, you have to give up. Learn a lot by just observing them, by talking to them, by seeing them walk. So take the harder path, stay an extra night.
Jai Hind everyone. I, Arushi Pandey, your host, welcome you all to Cadet Alumni Association YouTube channel, where we bring you young officers who are going to be part of Indian Armed Forces. And today we have a very special guest, our ex-NCC cadet Samuel David from 2MP Naval Unit Jabalpur, who got recommended in his fourth attempt from 32 SSD Jalandhar and is going to be part of Officers Training Academy 64th course, and he is going to join the course in the forthcoming days. Sir was part of RDC 2022 contingent and he was silver medalist in All India Best Cadet competition. Sir, I present my heartfelt welcome to you on our channel, and how are you feeling today?
Thank you so much for welcoming me here, and it's a heartfelt gratitude towards you and the organization, and also the Cadet Alumni Association that I've been called here. And I'm feeling very ecstatic and very amazing. It's the effervescence of the topic that we are chatting. So I'm really very happy and very good. Thank you.
That's great, sir. I like your energy. So, to start with, firstly, I would like to know a brief introduction about you, your family, your college, and when did you realize that you want to join the Indian Armed Forces?
So in my family, talking about my family, my father was NCO in the Indian Navy, and he served in the Indian Navy for 20 years. And along with that, the fire always ignited in me, and I always saw that uniform, donning the uniform, was my sole purpose in life. From the start, I was very much attracted to the uniform, to the cantonment life, to the aura which they had, to the personality they bestowed. I was always attracted to that. And apart from that, my mother also, she's a teacher. So she always taught me to be physically and all as well mentally smart and astound. So even she motivated me a lot. And about my college life, I come from college which is in Jabalpur, and the name is Gyan Ganga Institute of Technology and Sciences. So from there, I completed my Bachelor's of Technology in Mechanical Sciences, starting from 2020 and to 2024. So, and in the meantime, I was a part of the NCC, where I got a closer look to the life in the armed forces, not equal, but a very closer look, where I could relate myself that yes, the fire ignites me, can be given a practical and a legitimate purpose. So this is how the journey started.
That's great, sir. It was really inspiring. So, sir, coming from engineering background, how did you manage your studies, NCC, and plus you did prepare for your SSB? How did you manage it all?
So to be honest, it was somewhere a tricky part, as I in between also I was working, and I was working in a call center at night shifts as well in my third year and final year. So I was much involved in NCC, and definitely when you're doing BTech and technical courses, along with that you're in NCC. So definitely you have to take some days off to fulfill both the worlds. So yes, it took a lot of sleepless nights where I had to cover my portion as well as report to the ground in the morning, and many a times where camps were held, I was not able to give exams. But I would like to thank my HOD and my department who were able to cut me some slack. So where I was able to cope up with both things. And when you have a fire igniting you that you have to keep the best of the both, you have to give some sacrifices. And in my case, I had to sacrifice my sleep. So that is how it went.
Okay, sir. I would like to know about what all camps you did in your NCC journey and what were the learnings from those camps.
So in my 3 years of NCC, I did two CATC camps and one Republic Day camp on 2022, where I was awarded as the All India Best Cadet Silver Medalist. So that camp was actually the best camp of my life because that actually opened a lot of ways, and the opened actually my ways of thinking, my ways of perception of the world, the way I was thinking about life, about my journey, about my career. Because RDC is one of the most prestigious camps. It is the culmination, it is the gathering of all the three wings of all the three forces, and the supreme commander of the armed forces is there to salute you. This is something very prestigious. And I had this destiny or fortune and the blessings of everybody that I was able to go to Delhi and become the All India best candidate in my second year itself. So in that case, it not only just helped me, and when I came back, I wanted not just to take learn, but I wanted to give to people as well. Like luckily, when I became the All India best candidate in my second year, in the third year, I was a lot more able and capable to contribute it back to my unit because my unit spent a lot of time, a lot of resources, and my group and my directorate also spent a lot of time and resources on me in becoming the All India best cadet. So I would like to give it them back. So I started training people, and for because of that, because of everybody's hard works again, OMP Naval Unit was able to give 4 consecutive IDC All India best cadets in rank 1, 2, and 3. So that was amazing. And Republic Day camp is such a prestigious camp. I think everybody should try for it because no matter what event you do, it somewhere or the other shapes you. If you go for Kartavya Path, it enhances your endurance and walking skills and marching skills. And if you go for Guard of Honor, it enhances your endurance, agility, and your strength. And if you go for the best cadet, you get a lot of things. If somebody who is preparing and aspiring to be an officer, I think you should definitely try to become the best cadet in your unit and go for the RDC because your interview will be taken by an officer, your test will be taken by an officer, your drill test will be taken by an officer. So you'll be always surrounded by officers. So in that case, what will happen? You will learn a lot by just observing them, by talking to them, by seeing them walk. I used to learn a lot of them. I used to learn a lot. I used to love interacting with them because somewhere or the other, an officer has beautiful stories from his training days, from his service days, from his career days, and they always have something or the else happening in their life, and they're still very chill and happy about it. So that feeling is that I have seen much worse in life and I'm still happy what God has given me right now. So that feeling IDC can give you. So that opens your mind and makes you carefree that okay, I can deal with it. So that is something which RDC gave me. And the NCC gave me this beautiful opportunity to carry it out.
Sir, your NCC journey has been very inspiring and your achievements are quite commendable. So, I would like to know more about your NCC journey, how it started, and what all qualities NCC journey inculcated within you that helped you in your SSBs and the following attempts.
Okay. So yes, I definitely had a very good NCC life. And those 3 years which I spent had that built such a level of camaraderie in me that still don't forget that. Secondly, what happens is that in those 3 years of my life, I was able to inculcate and imbibe so many qualities that really shaped my personality, which I still use it in my life. Along with that, NCC gave me actually a purpose that yes, you can relate with myself, which I learned many things, not even from the technical aspects, where I learned about the Navy, about the NCC, about the Indian Armed Forces, along with the US technologies which the Indian Armed Forces are using. Along with that, I was also able to learn basic level of friendship, basic level of working under pressure, levels of camaraderie, which keeps the people in binding together, and the quote which we use in NCC, one for all and all for one. So the unity and the discipline, the people, the presence, the place, everything was so ecstatic that from where being in discipline, from your bearing to your huckle to your beret, everything was on point. To keeping yourself in discipline and hygienic. That came from us like taking 1 hours to shining our shoes. So that was a level of things and qualities which I inculcated from my NCC. And that helped me in my SSB as well because I was able to learn and I was able to make use of it in my SSBs as I was able to work under pressure well. I was able to perform earlier. I was able to make stories. I was able to relate myself more into it. And I was able to just contemplate more about it. So that is how NCC helped me here.
Okay. So, NCC gave you experiences that you have done it and now you have started writing in your stories. So, it came out naturally. And, sir, You have appeared in SSB for 4 times, and surely to our viewers, you seem to a quite a fighter to us. And how did you deal with those setbacks? And how did you it help you to come back stronger for your next attempt?
Okay. So, like, yes, I got recommended in my fourth attempt. So, definitely when I was a fresher, I was very fresh and very new to this arrangement and to this series of testing. So, definitely when I got conferenced out for the first time, I felt very bad and I was very broken. But in the next month, I had my new SSB coming up. So, I had to pick myself up, pick up the broken pieces and start studying again. So gradually I made a learning curve. Like I failed, I built it again, then again I failed, then I built it again. So retake by retake, I did it. And that is how I was able to. Like even in the first two attempts, I got conference out. But in the third attempt, after I took SSB coaching as well, so I got screened out for Navy pilot entry. And then after that, I did not have any more SSB for the next 6 months. So I was even working in corporate. But inside my mind, I still had to go and join the forces. So after that, again, I filled up the forms because somewhere or the other it was driving me because of the passion that it has on you. And I wanted that a life which is not less ordinary. So I wanted that kind of a life. So this was the thing that drove me till that extent. And I kept on fighting for it, kept on relentlessly making exceptions, making remedies, and making my own flaws, correcting them. So my learning curve was not made in one day. It was quite exponential, attempt after attempt, mistake after mistake. I messed up, and then I built it again, then again I messed up. So that is how I ended up here. So it was just a matter of time for me.
Okay, sir. Sir, to our viewers, we would like to know about what were the common mistakes that a fresh candidate generally does, and it is generally unknown to it because SSB, when we go for the first time, it's a very new thing, a very new experience. So, from your experiences, if you can tell our viewers that what are the things that we can prepare in prior and avoid doing in our SSB, so it will be very helpful for them.
Well, according to my best experiences, that I would like to say that the initial and the most common mistakes a candidate, which I especially made, is that I tried to stand out. I, especially in my psychological test, I tried to stand out, which ended up in me making some highly unreasonable stories. And I used to not, I didn't relate much. When basically the psychological test is a test of your personality, it is not about that who can make a better story. So what I used to do in my initial attempts that I used to make very high level stories which were sometimes unreasonable. I used to make the hero so highly powerful and did not used to uh, um, inculcate or involve other people in the story or my stories. So that ended up making getting me confidence out. Along with that, people try to fake themselves, not exactly fake, but they try to show that they are highly indulged in some good activities, and sometimes they aren't. So instead of not showing them what they are, they try to show themselves. They try to put a facade of such a good person that when actually the interviewing officers, the psychological officers, and the GT officers grill you, they actually they know that okay what you are. So that creates a misconception and a differentiation between the two. So that is the second thing. And the third thing is instead of studying too much about it, you start living it. My experiences come from a lot of places. Like in my initial attempts, I was very desperate for the army because I was not working and I was in my final year and I had my placements when I did not wanted to go join the company. But after I got screened out, I had to work for the meantime and I couldn't stay back and sit. So while I was working, I learned a lot of things. And after that, after 3 months of working, I realized that yes, I'm not just desperate for the army, I'm passionate as well. So once you remove that factor of desperation and you become just passionate, you will understand that how easy it is. Because when you're not working, you see only army as the matter of survival. And then you become desperate. And once a person is desperate, you start to panic. And but if you know that yes, okay, I'm doing good. Because when I was in corporate, I realized that okay, even if not in army, I myself will do something great in my life. And with that mindset, I went to this SSB and I was very chill and very calm. And that is how I ended up getting recommended. So this worked for me,
That
and I think it was a very good
okay.
approach.
Okay, then that was really inspiring, sir, and I'm sure it's going to help everyone. Sir, was there any funny experience coming out from your SSB and anything that you like have in your memories? So we would love to know about it.
Okay. So like my every FSB had a very a very peculiar thing which I used to do. So in my every interview, like in my first interview, I was so scared. I panicked so bad that when there is a barrage of questions which is thrown at you, which is known as the CIQ. So I forgot it at least thrice because I was looking so hard at the interviewing officer in his eyes so hard that every other thing started blurring out. And I was feeling so awkward. And I said, "Sir, can I have a glass of water?" And then he said, "Yes, you can proceed." And then I just started to going to grab the glass of water. And all of a sudden, I realized, what if I might break it? So I refused. Sorry, sir, I'm good. Then he asked that, "Is there something in the water?" I said, "No, sir, there's nothing in the water. Water is clean." He said, "Then drink it." I'm like, "No, sir, I'm good." Because I was scared that I might flip the glass of water and it might break. That was one thing. In my second attempt, I drank the glass of water, and it was somewhere around that I was asking the interviewing officer where to put this coaster. So that was again a funny experience. In my third interview, it was somewhere that I was actually there was twice a peculiar thing which happened that in my interview, the interviewing officer asked me that where are you working right now? So I said I'm working in a company called Prick Technologies in Pune. And then he asked about my designation. I said, "Sir, I'm a business development executive." So then he grilled a lot on me that saying that why are you working in a corporate sector of non-tech? So I said, "Sir, because it suits me, it pays me well." So like, okay, so why didn't you go to mechanical? Because I said I did not study much and did not do anything. And then second thing was that he asked about my weaknesses. So I said, "Sir, my financial management is very bad." So he said, "How?" And I said, "Sir, if I have money, I blow it up like anything." And then secondly, so he started grilling me that in your family, do you have helped anybody in financial terms? I said, "Yes. When we were buying a car, I helped them to choose a better model." He said, like, "Which car do you have?" So I said, "Swift." So he said, "So see, you are good in financial management. See, you did such a great job. You're trying to hype me up and trying to get me convinced that I'm good in financial management." So basically trying to contradict my own point. So said, "No, no, sir, it's not about that. When it comes to my mother's money, I'm very financially sound. When it comes to my money, I blow it up like anything." So then he started laughing and then he tried like, "Okay, good one." And then we continued. So this was like the funny experience.
Okay, sir. It was really nice to know all of this. Sir, I would like to ask, how does NCC helps in and NCC related activities helps in SSV, particularly in GTO task, and what a cadet can inculcate being in NCC, which can be used in SSB naturally.
Okay. So NCC teaches you a lot of things, which not only just enhances your perception, but also shapes your personality. So first thing that every wing of NCC has a different amount of set of things. Like the army cadets have the OT, boat pullers, Navy has the boat pulling, and Air Force air wing guys have flying. So not only that enhances your physical capabilities, but also that helps you and builds your endurance. Thirdly, what happens that in SSB you are in a 5 day process and a lot of tests are carrying out. So there will be many times you are just coming from the GTO ground and within 10 minutes you have to go and change and come back to the interview. So in that case, what all happens that many a times cadets are asked that you don't change, you just go like that. But cadets usually prefer. So in that case, an NCD cadet would be swift enough to get freshen up, wear the formals, come back. Secondly, what happens? The perception of times becomes slow for you, as if like you get more time and more clarity to think. Because in NCC, you are dealing with a lot of people who are from the forge, your COs, your PI staff, and everyone. So you have this acknowledgement towards them, you have this very familiar feeling with them. And people who are not in NCC or coming from civilian backgrounds, they face this somewhere that they get slightly hesitant in opening up to officers. So that definitely gives you an edge over because a sense of familiarity boosts your confidence like anything. So that is what I feel that NCC gives you. And third thing, which I used to do a lot in my third year when I became the senior, like in my initial years of NCC, I was not so verbose or not good in speaking. So in my third year, when I got my fresh set of juniors, I used to study about any random thing and used to give lectures like that because juniors are the best lot of batches which you get. So in that case, if you speak for 10 hours, they'll listen to you for 10 hours. And if they question, you can give them ragda. So that is the thing. But I used to teach them a lot, but I used to teach them a lot about sound things and saying things of how things work. So in that case, my confidence, my public speaking got boosted really well. And even my juniors got to learn a lot of things. So that is how it worked out like a symbiotic relationship between me and my batch of juniors where we both learned. So that is what NCC gives you and helps you in SFB.
Okay, sir. So, who was your constant companion throughout your journey? And who do you see as your mentor? And what are the learnings that you gather every day in and around being in NCC and part of a corporate sector of a college life? So that brings out your personality in a better manner. So we would like to know about it.
Well, my constant companion in all this fear, like, was my mother and still is my mother because throughout like my life, she has seen my journey. So at least she has seen me fail. She has seen me getting screened out. She has seen me going to work. She has seen me getting recommended. So everything that is there. And somewhere or the other, she always knew and she always trusted me that yes, he has potential. He just needs to channelize it. And along with that, in my corporate career also, there were many people like my reporting manager, even my directors, even though they knew that I am an aspirant, they still supported me. They also took work from me, but they also supported me. Well, kept check on me that I'm studying or not. In my college life also, I would like to dedicate that to my ANOs, to Brigadier Sanjay Ghosh sir, because he has been involved since very start from the RDC days of my life. So he used to teach me a lot about speaking, about his pool of officers also interested me a lot. In my college life, my HODs and my college seniors or mentors and my family, everybody like just believed in me. And by their blessings and good wishes, I just sailed through.
That's great, sir. And coming towards the end of this video, I would like to ask you one last message that you would like to give to your juniors who are aspiring to be future officers. So, sir, you can just tell that.
Okay. So this is a message to all the juniors, all the people who are working as aspirants, who are working to get up sectors or private job or government job sectors. It is just a matter of time. It is just a matter of time. It's that today you might be thinking that, okay, I failed this attempt, but there's always a next attempt. And yes, SSB or even something, it takes hard work. It asks something for you. To get something great, you need to give up something you love the most. Your comfort, you have to give up. Your sacrifice, you have to give up. So just trust the process because who knows, after 6 months, you might be giving this interview and you will say that, okay, every failure, every mm, thing, every path, every difficulty end makes sense. Yeah. Something might be happening today which won't make sense to you. But tomorrow, when you achieve and you accomplish it from a higher ground, you'll be seeing and it will make sense. So take the harder path, stay an extra night, work hard, get things done, get recommended, give SSB, do everything. So just don't let it go. This time and this life is very precious. Your precious commodity, your precious luxury is your time. Don't waste it. Learn a new things. And instead of especially in SSBs, instead of trying to make preconceived stories, just try to lay it yourself. Don't see the picture, be the picture. So once you be actually and try to understand that where you have seen this picture in your life and what did you do in that life? Because like we are those kind of people who are good. Like we have Josh in our hearts, our minds are clean and good thoughts. So yes, army needs this kind of people. They don't want very high level of people. They don't want very low level of people. They want the person who has a sane mind, a good heart, a nice psychology, and will be able to do the good work. So somewhere or the other, just be calm and trust the process. It is just a matter of time. That's all from my side.
Thank you so much, sir. That was really inspiring. And I congratulate you on behalf of Cadet Alumni Association platform and wish you all the best for your future journey and to be in in the academy. And thank you for sharing such an inspiring journey. And I'm sure it's going to help so many juniors who are part of our channel. And with that, um, I would like to sign off saying keep learning, keep growing, and till the time we bring you another success story on our channel. Jai Hind. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jay.